All right. So, where is the future of selling on Amazon heading? What is going on in the world of PPC? There's lots of changes to talk about. And so, I'm super excited to bring on my good friend, Liran Hirschkorn from Incrementum Digital to talk about all that fun stuff and at least give our predictions, which predictions can be a little bit of a fool's folly, as they say. But let's get into it. So, Liran, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. It was great to meet earlier this week in Miami.
Yeah. So you and I were both at the Amazon powwow in Miami. We were both speakers, and you've spoken now at I think 3 of my virtual summits, but we've never.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but we've never actually met in person until.
Right.
I was walking by and you were at a table and you're like, "Hey, Kevin." So I was like, "All right, good, cool. We can actually shake hands and
yes,
meet in person." So that was really cool. So just to give everybody a little bit of background, who are you? What do you do? And how did you get into this space?
sure. So I started selling on Amazon in 2014. I had a online life insurance agency at the time. And I saw, but internet marketing was kind of a hobby and something I needed to learn and do for my online agency. But I always thought there was a better way to do things. When I was first an insurance agent and all the agents were chasing customers, I'm like, there's got to be a better way to attract people on the internet to come to you instead of chasing them at networking meetings. And so internet marketing was always interesting to me. And I saw a course about dropship Shopify called Dropship Lifestyle. Took that course, built a Shopify site, did that for a few months, then learned about Amazon, got into arbitrage, then wholesale, private label, and along the way started to really understand that both networking and learning were keys to success on Amazon. Talking to people and going to events and learning and face to face. So I started to just go to everything. And I remember 2016, I spent the most money I did, $10,000 to go to like a two-day mastermind to learn from, some very, very big sellers, and just started to learn and eventually started to speak myself and experiment and share, which led me to start an agency helping sellers called Incrementum Digital. And today we help sellers with managing their ads, DSP, creative, SEO, and as well as full brand management. We started to do Walmart ads. We started recently to do some Google ads into Amazon, some for reasons we can talk about, as well as influencer marketing. And so I would say that I very much live, breathe, and eat Amazon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, on a regular basis, but really enjoy the space too.
Great. So I think a lot of us kind of live, breathe, and eat Amazon and are always trying to figure out what's going on. Before we hit record, we were talking about the big announcement that, I don't even know if we would call it an announcement. Let's just call it the forum post. So we're in early November. So it came out, I believe, while we were in Miami just the other day. So this is fresh news as recording it. So maybe in the future, people have more clarification. But as we're recording this is a hot topic that I think almost every list I'm on has had some, hey, here's our take on this. And people have varying takes and whatnot. So I'd love to hear your take. So just real quick, what is it that was the announcement, so to speak, and what's your take?
So let's talk kind of leading up. Early in October, FTC took action.
Federal Trade Commission,
Federal Trade Commission took action against a whole bunch of big companies. I didn't read the whole thing, but it was the headline was kind of like testimonials, basically not disclosing enough about paid testimonials and things like that. Shortly thereafter, whether it's related or unrelated, Amazon removed Rebate Key and Elite Seller. By the way, both are kind of owned by the same people, founders. Remove their API access, and then sent a message to kind of sellers saying manipulation of sales rank is against Amazon TOS. They mentioned something specific to paying for a product for a paying for a product for a customer before they buy it is against terms of service. And again, the language was very vague, because when you're doing rebates, you're paying the customer after the transaction, not before. But it seemed to apply was before. So people were saying still, it's not very clear. Seems like, it's not clear that you can't necessarily do rebates. And then last this week on Tuesday, November 2nd, there's a post in the Amazon seller forums by a moderator called CMod. I believe they work for Amazon, it seems, if they're a moderator on there. And they said, we've gotten a lot of questions since that policy update, terms of service update. And here's the thing: any rebates, search, find, buy, two-step URL, super URLs, treasure hunt, which is a rebate key specific way of search people are doing search, find, buy, is against terms of service. You can only, all promotions have to be on Amazon. You want a rebate, you put a big coupon on the thing, right? You want to, you could do all this stuff on Amazon. Any doing it off Amazon to manipulate sales rank, etc., and rankings is against terms of service. Pretty clear, the most clear language you'd ever seen from Amazon on this stuff. Since the history that I've been on Amazon, they've never been clearer around this. And two-step URL started in 2016. And they've never said anything about it, or really even taken action against sellers, suspending them for it. And I believe they could tell enough within activity when sellers are doing this, never took action against it. Well, now it seems like they put this out, but again, a little weird, because they didn't put this in their official terms of service policy. It's this post in the forums. And actually, I saw Bradley, who's on the forum, who I think his name is How Cool Is That? In the forum name.
I did see somebody. How cool is that? Was one of the responses. Yeah,
that's Bradley Sutton from Helium.
Okay. I didn't realize that was him. Okay,
that's because the original AMPM podcast started by Manny Coates, who started Helium, always had the first intro was like,
he would always say, "How cool is that?"
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you about ranking and making money, and how cool is that?
You can make money while you're sleeping. How cool is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, okay. That's funny. That's funny.
So he asked, like, is this going to go into terms of service? Like, is this actually a policy in terms of service? And it wasn't really added. But the point is, it seems clear from Amazon's side now what they think the policy is. What I would like to see is, will Amazon enforce it? Because the worst thing is them not enforcing it. Because you could say, maybe you can make the argument even that it's against FTC to manipulate rank. I was talking to Paul Raffleson for a while about this, and maybe you can make that argument that that's why Amazon took action. But the point is that overseas sellers are not subject to FTC. They're not worried about it, at least. And sellers in China and other sellers are still going to do this. And so if Amazon doesn't take action against it, it will just continue, because you're just going to be at a disadvantage by not utilizing this. So if Amazon's putting this out there, well, they should enforce it so that you can create a level playing field. And in my opinion, this is a very strategic move by Amazon, because, okay, well, if you can't utilize giveaways and rebates to rank your products, what can you do? Well, I mean, obviously you need great listing, great products, all that, but what can you do? Well, you can spend money on PPC, benefits Amazon. You can send outside traffic, benefits Amazon, especially if you're spending money on Google ads. Amazon is the largest buyer of Google ads in the world. And by having sellers do that, they're removing some of their own costs, marketing costs themselves, that they don't have to advertise on Google to send traffic to Amazon. The sellers will now do it. And in fact, we know they want you to do this because they have this brand referral bonus giving you around 10% back on your sales when you're using Amazon Attribution to send traffic into Amazon. So a very, very strategic move. And at the end of the day, you're manipulating rank in a lot of ways, even PPC, right? Like in Google, advertising Google ads does not improve your organic Google position. But with Amazon, it does. And so again, they're just getting you to spend money on rank manipulation inside of Amazon versus outside of Amazon. But it'll be interesting to see if this is actually enforced. That's really kind of what I'm waiting for. In the meantime, I would say, there are a lot of good ways to influence ranking, including, yes, Amazon advertising, including outside traffic coming in. We're having very nice success with seeing improvements in ranking from running Google ads traffic into Amazon. I've been running one of my own products, and it's very early data, but for the last 10 days or so, I have a 57% ACOS on Google to Amazon traffic, and I haven't even started to optimize, which keywords are working, which keywords are not working. It's not bad, but I'm seeing a nice rank lift. So, I think there's opportunity to, do things the right way. I would just prefer it to be a level playing field, and Amazon to actually, enforce the policy.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because policies are no good unless they're enforced. And that's always been the complaint, is that Amazon's leaves it vague. And some of it is because it's hard to know when you're writing these policies, what are people going to do in the future? So they,
right.
Corporation, and it's not just Amazon, like all corporations, all lawyers will tell their clients, don't leave it too specific, leave a little bit of room, to make judgment. And what was interesting is, that this was a forum post that was putting this out, and not a, news or, a change in terms of service. It's and the language they used, it was a mix of, it was very corporate written. Like, this was not just, some person at home saying, I'm going to go ahead and say my thoughts on this. This was very corporate. Like, you can tell, like, multiple levels in the organization probably read and proofread and adjusted the wording very precisely. But to your point, they use terms like search, find, buy, and two-step URL, which are terms you'd see in a Facebook group, not usually in Amazon terms of service, because those are not really Amazon terms. Like, those are just words people use.
You have to believe that Amazon is known about, Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Amazon employees are into Facebook groups. They're, they go to events. I remember going to Retail Global in 2018, I believe, or 2019, 2018. And I see my Amazon rep there, but they're wearing a badge that says the Red Little Envelope Company, Seattle, Washington. And they're going to events stealth mode. Okay. So Amazon is all over. They're around, they're in Facebook groups, they're in things, they know what's going on. And they've never enforced this before. So, okay, we'll see if they enforce it. If they don't enforce it, people will continue to do it, and you'll kind of be at a disadvantage if you don't. But I say that, for me right now as an agency, we did run rebates and giveaways for our clients, but I'm cautious now really not to do it, because it's now more in the policy, or and I don't want to get sued from my customer when they get suspended. So, or, I spoke to our lawyer about it, and he said, maybe it's even an FTC thing. And even if you don't get sued by the customer, the FTC will go after you, because you're the one running it and the money flows through you and everything else. So we're going to go to Google ads and PPC and influencer marketing and great SEO, and generating a lot of sales. And really the key comes down to launching a product the right way, because if you generate a lot of sales velocity early, keep the listing closed, generate a lot of sales velocity early, can't really focus on profit anymore early on in the listing on Amazon. You got to focus on sales velocity and building reviews. And if you do that, I think you have a good chance to succeed. And obviously picking the right product, or matching your budget to the right product, rather, because at the end of the day, I think you can break in with any product into Amazon with enough money. The problem is people don't match the product they pick to the amount of money you need, to do that. You can probably break into the fish oil market, but maybe you need $5 million in losses,
right,
enough reviews to become relevant, right? So, if you do all that and do it right, I think you can succeed without it. And we've launched many products with just PPC and have seen great ranking and them taking off. So I don't think it's a requirement, but I would like to see Amazon actually enforce it if they are saying you can't do it. To put your money where your mouth is.
Right, exactly. I agree. It needs to be enforced. I personally would like to see it enforced in a way of like maybe warnings initially, because some people like this has been a big debate. Like I've had people on this podcast before that are like, oh yeah, rebates are fine. Da, 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 da. One of the arguments I've heard before is because, well, rebate key is on
Approved.
Amazon's the
Right.
provider list. Like, well, you can't use that argument anymore. And now
Well,
that Amazon's said it, it's like, well, it's shifting the other direction. So
and you know what? First of all, I wouldn't be surprised if the way things work at Amazon, first of all, Amazon never even understood what rebate key does in the first place.
mhm.
It's got approved in the App Store. And or one department doesn't understand another department at Amazon. That I've seen very clearly. And the person approving things in the App Store is not the same person at sort of,
Seller performance or something.
yeah, seller performance. And the fact that they were approved kind of doesn't really mean Amazon has approved this strategy and vetted it. It just means Amazon is too big and doesn't have that level of detail, that level to inspect everything. But I agree. I heard those same arguments. But yeah, it'll be interesting because at the same time, there are a lot of other software tools that have an API connection that are still connected, right?
They're not too far off, or adjacent at least.
I mean, there's direct tools that are just, for the purpose of ranking, right?
We
And
don't have to go into names, but yeah.
I mean, because Amazon's listening, right? So we don't have to go into names. But those tools are still connected. Clearly, Amazon has said now you can't do it. So it does just show you, just because you're a tool that's connected doesn't mean you're in compliance with
Right.
with Amazon.
Yeah, and really what it comes down to is I personally think this is going the route that Amazon's maturing as a platform. Now, this is my theory.
Yes.
Is that Amazon's maturing as a platform, just like when I first started as a kind of lurker in the online marketing space in, like, let's say 2012, people freaked out when the whole penguin panda thing happened. It was basically, there were people who had businesses solely based on Google SEO traffic that were gone the next day because Google made a change. And that's been something that's been harped on a lot in the online world, not necessarily the Amazon world, of if you build on someone else's platform, just be prepared, things could change. We're starting to see that more and more on Amazon because ultimately they want to have control of the user experience.
Right.
And so if people are kind of circumventing the way they've created their algorithm in a way they didn't intend it for, that basically in essence, if something is number one on a search page, because people are going to assume, oh well, Amazon must, it must be Amazon's choice, even if it doesn't have the Amazon choice badge, but Amazon thinks it, not because there was a manipulation, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah. And if you think about it, what's the lesson here is, get on Walmart. Walmart allows incentivized reviews right now. There's Bazaar Voice, which is directly affiliated and allowed, and you're allowed to give away products for an honest review through that platform.
Yeah.
And everything that used to be, I mean, very easy to rank, no policies on rebates, no policies on URLs, no policies on review manipulation. Once Walmart gets enough seller adoption, they can also get rid of these policies, right? And this happened on every platform, like you said, Google and Facebook, and we've seen Facebook iOS 14 has killed a lot of ads on Facebook. So I mean, the over reliance on any one platform is not great either. Sometimes it's hard to avoid with these companies being so gigantic and having so much dominance. But every platform, it used to be super easy to make money with Facebook ads. It's gotten harder. Amazon used to be much easier. It's gotten harder. Walmart's easier. Maybe the the next shopping experience in the metaverse will be easy to manipulate and take Amazon out of the entire game.
Right.
You know, but that is right, the natural evolution, you know, of platforms. And in 5 years, Amazon will be harder than it is today. And you'll say, oh yeah, I remember when, like, you know, Google ad traffic was just like amazing, right?
Hmm.
But again, everything, nothing lasts forever when it comes to this stuff. And these strategies on rebates have been working very well in ways that change. Before that, it was 99% off coupon codes
Right.
that worked. You didn't need to do rebates, but then Amazon changed the algorithm and those kind of stopped working. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if Amazon forces. But really, Amazon wants, like you said, they want brands, real brands now on the platform. They want people doing stuff outside of Amazon. They want, you know, they want the social media style posts.
Hmm.
You know, they want brands, you know, on the platform. They're trying to accommodate brands, and I think there will be a lot of, you know, benefit to you know, doing that, building up followers in your storefront and through posts. And you'll be able, Amazon's going to give you the ability to send new product launches. It's already on vendor, it's
Hmm.
coming Seller Central. They'll give you probably more the ability when you have deals and coupons, those people who follow you, it'll pop up on their Amazon app. They're going to show you probably, I think, lifetime value of a customer. If they're smart, I think they're going to start to show you that data, because you'll be willing to spend more money on ads on the platform if you can see the lifetime value.
Hmm.
Something that's coming next year too is going to be the Amazon Marketing Cloud.
Mm.
It's going to show you more of the full journey of a customer. So Amazon is really going to improve the DSP
Hmm.
platform. So today with DSP, you don't have necessarily full attribution of what happens. And I'll give you an example. Um, DSP attribution happens through views, not just through clicks. So I have a retargeting ad,
Right.
and you see the ad pops up on you're playing Candy Crush, as I know
Right.
you probably do, Kevin. And the
Used
ad
to play that a little more.
the ad pops up on the bottom. You don't click on it, and then you go back to Amazon and buy the product. Well, if you go back to Amazon and you search the brand name and you click on the sponsored ad,
Hmm.
you're not going to get the attribution back to where you saw the ad pop up. But through the Amazon Marketing Cloud, you will get the full journey of how the person got there. It will help you better understand the spend. So Amazon wants people to increase their ad spend. They're going to find ways to do it. And I think it'll be through showing you lifetime value of a customer, giving you more opportunity to sell to the same customers, because the whole follow thing is doing that. And you're going to have to kind of get better at marketing. You'll almost have to start doing some form of kind of maybe email marketing through Amazon to your followers. And, you know, so I think that's kind of the evolution of where things are going, or at least what Amazon kind of wants you to do, and will give you more abilities to connect with your customers, except they're going to put the customers in the driver's seat
Hmm.
by having them opt in to follow, versus you just being able to kind of, you know, message anyone. But maybe there'll be just a way you can request a review. Maybe after purchase there'll be request to follow, right?
Hmm.
Follow the brand, like right. Maybe they'll give you more tools so that you can connect with customers, and it's a better seller experience, and you'll spend more money on Amazon advertising along the way.
Well, yes, and that's probably, some people have a little bit of a conspiracy theory of like, well, Amazon just wants us to spend more money on ads, and for folks that weren't doing rebates and things like that, now all of a sudden their ad costs potentially could go up. Although I would still say, even if ad costs go up, you can still manage it, and pay attention to any platform, and that's the evolution of all these platforms.
Right.
That when they say we want you to use this new tool, it's a good idea to at least try it out.
Right.
And there's always kind of a first mover advantage. So when Amazon's saying we're going to give you 10% rebates, and can you just
Yes.
describe what this 10% rebate is for? Like, it
Yes.
doesn't even have to be Google traffic, right?
Correct. So basically, Amazon came out with this Okay, so here's the background to this. Amazon first came out with something called Amazon Attribution. For a long time, people were asking, Facebook allows me to put a pixel on my website so I can
Right.
see what's happening to the people that I'm sending and see the results. But with Amazon, if I send outside traffic, I don't really know if those people are buying or not. How can I scale? Okay, I'll spend $10 a day, but I'm not going to spend $100 a day or $1,000 a day if I can't tell if the customers are converting. So Amazon came out with this called Attribution, where they give you kind of a unique link. You can use it from anywhere, whether it's a blog post or an email to your list, or an influencer using it, or Google ads or Facebook ads. And you can drive that traffic to Amazon, and you'll see the attribution you'll see if that the conversion rate on that traffic and the sales. That, of course, allows you to scale. Well, I think there was not a high adoption for this. So Amazon, and the reason is because outside traffic doesn't convert as well as internal traffic. And so I don't think it was a high adoption. And I guess some friction to setting this up, not super simple. So Amazon came out recently and said, we're going to give you a brand referral bonus. Any traffic that has an attribution link attached to it, which means it's coming from outside Amazon, on average, it's different in different categories, but on average, you get 10% of the sale price back, which means effectively, and that's after 60 days, because I think they want to wait, obviously, for the customer not to return the item. But essentially what that means is that your 15% referral commission goes down to 5%, because you're getting this back. It's very smart from Amazon's standpoint, because again, they're getting you to subsidize their cost of outside traffic. They're getting people to actually adopt and use Amazon Attribution. And they're only paying you that on that customer's first purchase with you, right? If you have a consumable product, if you're selling a vitamin D and you're getting somebody to come in, well, the first sale, you're going to pay that 5% instead of 15. But now on their subscribe and save and everything else, you're paying the full thing. So it's very smart by Amazon, but you should take advantage. You should absolutely take advantage of it. And that's the same, like you said, when video ads came out, we were getting 10-cent clicks. Then Amazon made the minimum 25 cents. They did not allow you to bid under because it was so cheap, and people had such great success with it. And people didn't adopt it right away. And that's a huge mistake, because you have a first mover advantage. Why? Because there's X amount of inventory available and Y amount of people using that available inventory. And eventually what happens is the inventory sort of stays the same, but a lot more people use it and cost goes up. Now Amazon's trying to expand somewhat the inventory available on video ads, but same thing with Amazon posts. If you did it from the beginning, you got more free visibility. Now there's more posts. Now, eventually, I don't think posts are going to stay free. I think there will be sponsored posts that you can feature on your storefront or feature on other people's pages or detail pages, etc. It's not going to stay free forever. So you really should be taking full. And now, if you have 10 posts at least, you'll see on detail pages inspiration from the brand. You'll see your own posts on your detail pages, and if somebody clicks on that, it goes to the storefront, to that post on the storefront, and is directing you there. Building out storefronts, right? Something that, again, Amazon gave you this opportunity to do. Not everyone's taking full advantage of it. Well, now I've seen on sponsor brand video ads, there's a link that says go to the storefront. So taking full advantage of these things, and people generally have better conversion rates when they send traffic to the storefront, higher average order value, because you can cross-sell multiple products there that people can't see just on the listing. The lesson is to really take advantage of the marketing tools that are available to you within Amazon, even if you don't think it's a serious opportunity, because eventually it will become a better opportunity. And many times these things become a huge advantage in terms of implementing them early. And you could say with attribution that Amazon will also probably reward those listings, right, with better rankings. If I'm an engineer at Amazon, I'm programming how things are going to work, and two products are selling exactly the same, but one of them is driving 20% of those sales from outside of Amazon, new people who weren't on the platform at the time in, and the other one is 100% of just people in. Which one is better for me to platform? Is the one that is bringing me people that were not sitting on Amazon.com and coming to buy, because they're going to buy maybe that product, they're going to buy other products, and they're spending more time on the platform. The more time people spend on any of these platforms, social media, shopping, the more valuable those customers are. So you bring somebody from the outside, I would have to think the algorithm is rewarding you for it. So think like an Amazon engineer of what would I want to program, links from websites into the product, right? Affiliates promoting your product, like all these things. If you think like an engineer programming the algorithm, you'll know the right steps to take to get an advantage in the search results.
Yes, because as Zig Ziglar used to famously say, you can have anything in life you want as long as you help enough other people get what they want.
Right.
And we got to remember, Amazon is filled with other people that they all have goals. Right. They all have to go at the end of the year to their boss's office and present their case of, why they should get a certain rating, which is usually how corporate, structures work, so that they can, get a raise or a promotion. And so there's all these people making decisions.
Right.
And they're not doing it because they're trying to get the seller. They're trying to make their boss happy, who's also trying to make their boss happy, and up the chain of command. And so to your point, there's that thought that if you're bringing in additional traffic from outside, they must want to reward that. So they're clearly stating, hey, on the stick side, we don't want you to do these things. We want you to do these things. And if you use our links, we'll even give you 10% of the sale back. And so that's definitely a huge signal they're making.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, basically, Amazon's like, don't do incentivized reviews. Use our paid Vine program to do incentivized reviews, right?
Because now they're controlling the experience.
Yes. Don't do rank manipulation. Use PPC as rank manipulation, right? Like,
right. Well, that's not manipulation. That's okay.
Yeah. Right. That's okay. And yeah, essentially, it's a company focused on growing its revenue and having control. And so you can't really blame, you can't really blame Amazon. If you can't do giveaways, you have to do PPC to really push rank. And there's plenty of people that say, no, I'm just going to spend that money is better spent on giveaways because I'll get better results, for example. Right. So it is, it's a smart strategic move from Amazon's part. I want to see them enforce it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one of the questions I have about the external traffic, and this has been a debate for years, of is external traffic direct to the
I'll answer the question.
Page. Is that good or bad because of conversion rate?
Yes, I will answer the question. So we'll end the debate right now.
All right, we're going to end it. I love it.
They had for years. The traffic that is internal keyword search traffic, internal from Amazon, and outside traffic to a listing forget about a keyword built into the URL or anything, right? Just the canonical URL or the ASIN URL or whatever it is, are not treated the same way. Okay. Somebody searching for barbecue glove, clicking on 5 different products and not buying them, and then going to the 6th and buying them, sends a very strong signal on that 6th product that it's better and should rank higher, because people search for something, clicked on something and said, no, this isn't it. However, let's put our Amazon engineer hat back on. And Amazon engineer says, Liran just met Kim Kardashian at the Amazon Powwow event, and he convinced her to Instagram out his product. And Kim Kardashian does an Instagram story about my product, and 1 million people come to the listing. Okay. Now, out of those 1 million people, how many are really qualified? They just want to see what Kim Kardashian.
Right. Exactly. Like, oh, let's check it out.
They're not qualified, right? So 0.001% of people buy the product. Poor conversion rate, or 1% of people buy the product. It's considered a poor conversion rate. Amazon engineer, does you want that outside traffic coming in? The answer is yes. So internal keyword driven search negatively impacts conversion if people are searching, finding, clicking, not buying. But external traffic, especially without keywords, not manipulated external traffic, right, with super URLs and things like that, but external traffic direct to a listing does not negatively impact the same way. It's in fact positive, even if the conversion rate's really low, because again, it's not being found in the same way through I search for this specific thing. It's a link without keyword necessarily attached to it. So it doesn't negatively impact your rankings. And again, if you put on the engineer hat, it makes sense, because it would then disincentivize people to really drive external traffic like that from a huge influencer to drive a lot of traffic, but only a low percentage of it converts. But again, you're getting people off Amazon into Amazon. So it would be very foolish that kind of traffic wouldn't be a positive thing. And you would actually see big brands that are working with big influencers that probably are doing this kind of stuff actually with big influencers be very negatively impacted by it. And you don't really see it. So I think it's two different things. Keyword driven traffic, internal to external traffic, that Amazon does actually want.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And if you think about going back to our analogy before of Amazon is following trends that a lot of the other outside tech companies have done. Well, like YouTube, which is also a search engine. So,
Right.
I have a YouTube channel, so I follow things that YouTube is saying.
Yeah.
And they have said publicly that, like, even though they give you a report of what is your click-through rate. So when someone sees like a video, whether or not they click on it, they look at it differently depending on where it's coming from. So is it a notification on a phone? Those tend to have a very low click-through rate. Whereas like search would be a different click-through rate than recommendations on another video would have. And so they're looking at that differently. So if, you shouldn't say, I don't want notification traffic because it's going to be a lower click-through rate. It's the same thing with Amazon. They want outside traffic. So just because it doesn't buy at the same rate doesn't mean it's not good, because to them it's actually incremental dollars, not within their kind of inventory of searches.
Yes. So the bottom line is, don't just believe something that you hear somebody say. Think logically. Does it make sense from the algorithm and what the platform wants standpoint? Does it make sense that Amazon would want to push a product lower in ranking if 1,000 people search for barbecue glove, find the product, and only one person buys it? 100%. It's not. It's showing that it's not relevant. Right? Or that it's not as good as the other options. But does Amazon want the outside traffic coming in? Yes, 1,000%. So, and because once you're there, you're going to look for other solutions if you don't buy that product, or you're browsing on the site, you're spending more time there. So that makes sense. And so don't just accept these theories people have unless you question it and think about, well, why does this make sense for, if I'm an Amazon engineer, what do I want to reward? If you think about it from that standpoint, you'll likely come up with what likely is the right answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to what is it Amazon's goals are. It's ultimately, from the highest of high levels, Jeff has always said it's about, being a customer centric company, which means they want to control the experience. So if things start getting away from them controlling the experience, or at least having measurements of what's happening, to things kind of happening outside in the, they'll never know realm, they'll know. They'll figure it out.
And it's the reason why of what does Amazon want? It's the reason why you can have two people at top of search next to each other with pay-per-click, and one person would be paying $1 for that click, and the person right next to them could be paying $3 for that click. And the reason is because Amazon doesn't want just the click; they want the sale.
Right.
The reason they want the sale is not just because they're making a commission on the sale, but because it's a better customer experience. The more you buy on Amazon, the more you're likely to renew your Prime membership, the more you're likely to come back to the site, right? And this flywheel effect. And so, that's why a better conversion rate will give you better cost per click than your competitor. By the way, one thing I want to just throw in that I just thought of is Amazon added something pretty cool for this holiday season, which I think will help sellers, is you can now buy gift cards without or gift card or a gift, a physical product for somebody without knowing their address. So it's pretty cool. So Amazon came out with this thing where I want to buy you a gift, Kevin, right? Because you've had me on the virtual summit 3 times. And now I've met you in person. And so I want to send you a gift.
That's very kind of you.
I don't know your address though, right?
Right.
And you knowing me probably don't want me to know your address.
Oh God, no. I mean, yeah, I didn't say that out loud. I'm sorry.
Right. But anyway, I don't know your address. But if I know your email or your mobile phone number, I put that in now on Amazon. You get a message that says enter your address to get this gift from Liran. So that's something cool, I think, that Amazon has done that will hopefully increase sales for this fourth quarter on Amazon, as opposed to maybe just a gift card, right? Because a gift card, I can use your email or your mobile number. Now you could actually send the person something and they enter in and put in their address. So pretty cool concept, I think, for that's, I think it's already in place, that Amazon just introduced.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, any closing thoughts on what folks should do, whether it be short-term, long-term, as they're, either having to make drastic changes to things that have recently happened, or they're just looking to adapt to kind of the direction that things seem to be going?
Focus on making sure you have great video on your store, on your pages. Optimize your storefronts, shoppable images, video and shoppable images on your main page. Do posts every day. Schedule them out. Have a graphic designer just schedule out 30 posts for the month. Post them. Build up followers. Play with attribution. To do these things that have been kind of put out there that will be more important next year. Short term for this fourth quarter, maximize your profit. I think being in stock, if you're in stock, you're king. So maximize your profit, raise your prices, lower your ad spend as you're sort of like, especially if you're going to go out of stock, right? Maximize on your profit, because when you look to sell the business, people will be looking at your trailing 12-month history and your average margins. And Q4 can really help you raise those margins and offset some of the blows to margin this year from rising PPC costs and from supply chain and container costs. And so we now have a month and a half or so of a lot of sales that you only have once a year to maximize on. So you want to do that. And Chinese New Year is early this year, so you got to get those orders in. It's a little bit earlier. The lunar calendar, I believe, is a little earlier for holidays this year. So early February is already Chinese New Year. Make sure you're getting inventory for 2022 and you're not out. I had several years ago, 2017, I think it was, I was pretty much out of stock from December until March because didn't get my order out until after Chinese New Year. By the time I ordered it, it was too late to finish. So learned that lesson the hard way. I wish everyone a very successful end of 2021.
Awesome. Well, this was a lot of fun. So if folks wanted to follow you or learn more, where would you like them to go?
Sure. So Incrementum Digital is the website. We do a lot more than what's on there because we're revamping the site, but creative work, ads, obviously brand management. And then you can follow me on all social media. I have a podcast as well called Ecommerce Mindset and a Facebook group, Ecommerce Mindset, and then Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even a little bit of Twitter and TikTok. You can find me.
Well, cool. I will definitely link to as many of those as we can do in both the show notes and in the description below for folks watching on YouTube. So I'm just jotting myself down a little note there. So that was great. So thank you, Liran, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks.